as you would know, my main programming language is C++. When I was preparing for Intuit interview, a friend really helped me. He now has 9 plus years of experience in C++. He's currently working at Upstocks and has worked for companies like Oracle, Adobe, etc. So I thought it would be a great idea to do a mock C++ interview with him where we have covered a lot of very common C++ questions asked. I have faced all of these questions at some or the other point, and so has he. So without any further delay, let's get started. But before that, let me tell you about the sponsor of the video. Crio launched by Crio.io is the India's largest tech externship opportunity for developers to showcase their skills and get placed in the best product-based companies. Crio launch externships are professional project building opportunities where you work on a real tech problem from the industry. To become a Crio launch developer, all you have to do is crack a coding test. Once selected, you build externship projects to prove your developer skills and get hired into amazing product based companies. And all of it for free. You pay nothing to become a Cryo launch developer. Your effort is the only investment. Use the special link in the description below to book a slot for your Cryo launch coding assessment. This might really be helpful. So, Amit, I want you to implement a string class.
Yeah, okay. String class, as you know, Kirti, in standard C++ implementation, string class has a lot of functionalities in it. So I'd like to write some of the functionalities, like what all functionalities I can implement. You can also tell if you want to see more functionalities that I have to code in this interview. So I'll just start writing with this simple what all the functionalities I'll be writing for this string class. Okay, that works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll write a simple simple class template of this string. I'll take a string with a capital S because a small s is a standard implementation of a string. So just to differentiate, I'll write with the capital S. So class string. So this is how a class looks like.
Amit, before starting to implement the class, can you show me from a user point of view which all functionalities you're providing?
Yeah. That's what I'll write first. So suppose from the how users are going to use our this string class. So what they will do is they will write name, and inside this, so what all functionality will be there is so some user can just simply instantiate with an empty string. So there is no string that we want. So basically this will be from the default constructor. So what I'm doing is Kirti, is I'm writing what all functionalities I'll be implementing, and in the comment I'll show this functionality, how we are going to define these functionalities in the class. Right?
Okay.
So this will be done by the default constructor. Okay. So the second one could be the user can write it like this: string str2 equal some kind of a constant string like hello.
Okay.
Correct. So how this will be implemented will be through a parameterized constructor. Okay. Right. So the other way user can say is string str3 equal str1, suppose. So it's like initializing this string with other string which has been previously been declared or defined. Okay. Right? So how this will be done is by using what we call is copy constructor. Right?
Okay.
So the other way a user can use our string is by saying, so he can also say is str3 equal str2. So once he has defined the str3 with str1, he can also go ahead and change this, not str3 with other string. He can change basically. So basically this will be implemented by something called copy assignment operator. Okay. Uh, Another thing a user can say is he can want a length of the string, which is basically in the standard implementation of the string. So length, he can say like this key str3 dot length, right?
Okay.
What else? So
I also want you to input and output the strings. Take from user
okay.
and output.
So you want this key. So you want keys. Somebody should be able to output it on the screen. This class object. So he can say str2 and should be able to print the string which is related to that class.
Input as well.
Okay. Input as well. So he can also say cin and suppose str1. And so this will be implemented using we have to overload this input and output cout and cin. So this is like overloading this, and this is overloading, sorry, this operator, output operator, and this will be done by overloading the input operator. Okay. What else? What else do you want a user to use our string for?
Okay, I can also initialize it with like str3 and in bracket I write str1.
You mean to say, suppose this is str5 and you want this, right?
Yes.
You are telling this.
Yes.
So Kirti, actually when we implement this, this one str3 is equal to str1. So this is taken care by the copy constructor. So once we take care of this statement, this is automatically taken care of.
Okay. Good.
So we don't have to do anything special for this one.
All right.
Correct?
Yeah.
What else do you want? Because there are a lot of string functionalities we have in standard C++. We have substring, concatenation. So there are n number of functionalities. So what else do you want?
I think for now this is good enough. Let's implement these because since it's a 45 minutes interview, we are on time constraint. Let's implement these, and then if we have time, we can extend it.
Okay. So let's start with this default constructor.
Okay.
We'll write the public areas and private areas, and we'll define our its member variables. So there are two variables we will need for our to implement our string class. One is a buffer that we need. So we need some kind of a resource. We can say it like this. So this whatever the resource that will pass to the string, that will capture it inside this variable. And another what we can keep is the length of what is the length of our string. So at any particular time somebody wants the length of it, we can directly return this. So because the length cannot be less than 0, so I am taking it as unsigned int.
Okay.
Just ignore this capital.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
So unsigned int, suppose length. Correct. And so now we'll be implementing this default constructor. So how we'll implement this is string name this, and what we'll do this is we'll initialize this in. So there are two ways to initialize this. Either we can do inside this. Actually it's better to initialize in the C++. It's better to initialize this inside this initializer list. So because we don't have any parameter right now, so I can initialize with some default value. So for a pointer, I can initialize this with null ptr and my length with 0.
Okay. What is initializer list? Okay. Why do we need it over here?
Yeah. So Kirti, as the name suggests, initializer list is used to initialize the member variables of the class. So in this case, we actually don't need in this class we actually don't really have to we don't really need this initializer list. We can go ahead and initialize these things inside the body of the constructor also. But there are few cases where we generally cannot define these things inside the body of the constructor. We have to use initializer list.
Okay.
And
can you talk about
for
those
example,
cases
those
a bit?
yeah, so those cases are like, suppose you have members like constant, some kind of a const member. So suppose constant you have, or some kind of a reference you have, so reference member. So in these cases, no, you cannot go inside a constructor body and initialize this with some other variables.
Okay.
Like this, you cannot do this. You can only do this in initializer list here only.
Okay.
Okay, and this is because these references or this const member can only be initialized once. Once it is initialized, you cannot change it again.
Right.
Right.
Can you tell any other example other than const and reference? Where else do we need the initializer list absolutely?
Other cases like yeah, so other cases are like, suppose you have suppose you have another class data member here. Suppose some other class is there. No, sorry. One sec. So suppose some other class A is there, and you have that object here. Okay. And suppose you have to initialize this object inside this class. So what? And this object only has parameterized constructor but not default constructor.
Object
Right.
has parameterized constructor.
This class only has parameterized constructor but not default constructor.
Okay.
Correct. And I have to initialize this object here in this class. So I cannot go ahead and initialize this inside this body. Why? Because if you are going to initialize this inside the body, our compiler will look for any default constructor, because there is no parameter in initializer list. You are not initializing this, so it will look for a default constructor which is not there, and it will throw error.
Okay.
So in those cases, you have to like initialize it inside this initializer list.
Okay.
You cannot initialize inside this.
Okay.
Right.
Let's continue with the default constructor.
Okay. So yeah, so this is the default constructor. We have initialized this resource with the null ptr and the length with 0. This comma is not there. And this will take care of this line, string str1. Correct?
Okay.
So let's go to the parameterized constructor. So
when
how
you
we
were
define
actually telling me the use case, you had mentioned that str1 will be equal to empty string. And here you have assigned it to null ptr. So are you actually assigning it to empty string or to null ptr?
No, it's a null ptr. Like there is no resource available for this string because you are not giving anything. No. Str is like blank.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, the second is parameterized constructor. So again, the similar kind of signature string, and now it is going to take some characters. So some const, suppose const 𝐂 characters, and again we are going to initialize the similar way we initialize there inside the parameterized list, which is actually not necessary here, but what I mentioned before, it is necessary in some cases. So what I can do is I can also go inside the body and initialize this. But similarly, we can initialize inside in the initializer list also.
Okay.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll take the length of this the string that has been passed to us. So we'll say, and we'll assign this to this member variable. So length, length, come here, length is equal to str length and of this ch. We got the length, and we'll assign some new memory to this variable. So res equal new char, and so total length that will be assigned to this will be length plus 1, which is one more character for the /0 to mark the ending of the string. Okay. Please ignore this cap.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so now we have assigned the resource. What we want is to copy whatever the characters were there in the ch to the resource, right? So what we'll do is string copy. This string copy the whole character inside this resource. So string copy will take care of this /0 and all. So that is done. So this our parameterized constructor is done. So next we'll move to copy constructor, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so copy constructor, this third one. So string str3 equal str1. So what we'll do is we'll write the signature of a copy constructor. Const string percent sum string.
Why have you made both the parameters and like parameterized constructor and in copy constructor as const?
Yeah, so because see, how will you use the this parameterized constructor? You will pass some kind of a constant string, right? So
Okay.
this is a constant string. That's why this is const char star,
Okay.
right? Yes. So what is your other question? This was the question or something
In
else?
copy constructor also you have written const and ampersand. So why is that?
This one.
Yeah.
So okay, so copy constructor will be called for this kind of a statement, right?
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do it here is, so this str will come to this str, this will pass here, and while trying to access this, we don't want accidentally to change this resource. So that's why const. So if you try to somehow access, some developer or someone comes and try to write code and it accidentally changes something, it won't compile, it will throw error because you have put a const here. Okay.
Okay. What about ampersand?
So this is like passing by reference. So if you are not using ampersand, what compiler tries is copy everything from this parameter to this parameter. But right now, if you try to copy, again it calls up copy constructor. So it's like you are calling copy constructor and that needs a copy constructor.
Yeah, right. So if I don't
Right,
give
so-
an ampersand, what will happen?
This will throw an error right now.
Okay.
Because it will try to call a copy constructor, which for that it will need a copy constructor.
Okay. Got it.
That will happen. But for the resource, it won't try to do any copy.
Okay.
It is passed as it is, as a reference.
Okay.
Means we are directly pointing to that resource, no copying happening.
Got it.
Right now because of that reference.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do here is we'll take out how much length we required. So length is equal to str dot length. So so if some string has been passed, we'll already know its length because we must have changed the length of it. So we'll directly copy the length from here to this length from where it is called. Okay, and again similarly we'll assign new resource to this string. So what we'll do is resource equal new char
I have a question.
and
So your len is actually private, right?
yeah, but this is the same class, no? Inside the same class you can
Okay.
misaccess the private members also. This is not some outside the class.
Hmm.
Correct. So yeah, new char. So I assigned the resource to it, and now we will do a string copy like we did before. So from to resource from str dot res. Correct.
Right.
Okay, so this will take care of copy constructor. So the next one is copy assignment operator.
Okay.
So
What is the
So
difference
copy
between
assignment-
copy constructor and copy assignment operator? Both of them are equal to only, right? So what's the difference?
yeah, so Kirti, if you see here, no, copy constructor is only getting called when this string is defined for the first time. So we are defining this object for the first time, and then we are passing some other string inside this. So that time a copy constructor will be called. But if you see this statement, string 3 is already defined, but now it is trying to just copy from the other string.
Okay.
So this is not the new things.
So,
So
if
in
I
these
did
cases, a copy assign.
if I did str3 equal to hello in a hello string, that would also call copy assignment operator, right?
str3
Equal to like
oh
EB.
this hello.
Yeah, but like there it was a constructor. So if I pass str3 equal to hello,
Yeah,
what
it should call copy assignment operator.
assignment operator, not constructor.
Operator, yeah.
Okay.
Not constructor. Constructor will only be called during for the initialization. See, all these are getting initialized for the first time.
Right.
This variable is coming for the first time. This is coming for the first time. But this is already has been initialized before. Now you are assigning just some different values now.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So for this case, it will call copy assignment operator.
Okay.
Okay, so just implement this. So it has the signature like this. So it should have a return type, which is string ampersand, and function is operator equal to, and it will be const string ampersand str for the similar reason I mentioned before.
Okay.
So what happened here will be we have to check few cases here. So what will happen is, what can happen here is somebody could say like this, str3 equal str3, right? You cannot just stop any user from doing this. So we actually has to check whether somebody has done this or not. So what we'll do this here is we'll check if this is not equal to ampersand of str. So we are checking if it is not the same resource that I am looking for. So somebody has not done this, is what this condition is.
What is this?
So this is referring to this object which has called it. So str3 has, if the str3 is equal to str2, means this is referring to str3.
Okay, so this
is
is
the
a
pointer,
right?
Yeah, this is a pointer which is referring to this present object who has called this function.
Okay.
Right? So we are taking care of self assignment, self check. So if it is not a self assignment here, right? And what we'll do it here is first so if you see Kirti, str3 equal to str2, it means str3 must have already been having resource before coming to this line, right? So it must be having some resource which is occupying some memory. So if you don't delete it, it will actually become a memory leak.
Right.
Correct? So what we'll do it, we'll first delete what resource it is having already. So delete this resource, and then now after deleting the resource, what we'll see is what is the length now that we have to assign to it, and this length will be this string length.
Can you
Right.
explain why you have used delete and bracket and not just delete? Like why is there
So
a
if you
square
go
bracket?
ahead and yeah, so if you see in these parameterized constructors and all, no, because we have to assign not just one memory but an array of memory.
Right.
So we are using this bracket new. So once you have used this array of memory and this bracket, so while deleting also you have to like delete with this array. So delete array, so the whole memory will get deleted, not just one memory.
Okay.
Which this resource is pointing to.
Okay.
The whole length of it. So length is equal to string dot length. So now I have assigned a new length to it. And of course the new resource now I will assign because that resource is already deleted. So again new char and the length +1. Okay. And then the string copy. So string copy is for this resource str dot resource, right?
Okay.
So now that we have done this, and what we'll do is just return this. So return star of this. That is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for the copy assignment operator.
Okay.
Okay, so the next we have is length. So this is simple. This is just a simple function. So what we'll do it here is unsigned int is what we have to return, simple length function. So whoever calls it will get the length. And just return length, right? So after length, we have to take care of cout str2. So Kirti, how will we take care of this is, we cannot actually go ahead and define this operator inside this class as we did for equal to operator. Why?
Right.
Because so first thing is, if you see, actually I'll compare with this str3 equal str2 and cout str2. Okay. So what will happen? What was happening in str3 equal str2? str3 was calling this operator equal to function, and str2 was going as a parameter, right? Is it clear?
Yeah.
So similarly, how this will happen is, cout will call this operator, and str2 will go as a parameter.
Right.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
This is how this statement will be interpreted by the compiler. Okay, this object is calling this function, and str2 is a parameter to that function.
Okay.
Right? So this is the object that is calling. Correct? So we cannot go inside the string color. So what will happen is, cout is, which is object, we cannot go ahead and define this functionality inside the cout object, which is given by the standard C++, right?
Right.
Because this is your own user defined class, and you cannot just go ahead and put it inside that.
Right.
Right? Is this clear?
Yeah. So how
So
will you
what
write
we
it
have to
also?
do is,
Yeah.
so what we'll do is, so we'll write this O stream ampersand operator. So just bear with me.
So you're making it global.
Yeah, outside of any class.
Okay. Why was
And what string we are passing is const string ampersand str. Yeah. So O stream, why we are returning this is O stream ampersand, and okay, sorry, one more here, O stream ampersand cout. This, or just we can write out. Yeah. So what we are trying to do is, if it is now global, what will happen is, now this will go as a, this will be called as a function. Okay. And this cout and str2 will go as a parameters to that function. So cout will be first parameter and str2 will become the second parameter, because because it is not called by any object right now.
earlier
It
you
is my
said
global
cout
function.
will be the object and that will be the function.
Yeah, correct. So if I have to implement it like this, cout is calling that operator and str2 will go as a parameter. So I will have to go and implement inside the cout class,
Okay.
which we cannot do that because it is defined by the C++ and all.
Yeah.
We are not defining that class.
Okay.
Correct. So that option is gone. We have to define cout is calling that object.
Okay.
So the other way to do it is define a global function with this operator, this operator overloaded, and pass this cout and str2 as a parameter.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what will happen is, whenever this function is called, it will look for any overloaded operator function of this one.
Okay.
Okay. And this, if it finds this one with cout and str2 as a parameter, if the signature matches, so we have this out and the str, so it will call this function.
Okay. Then how are you going to output?
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, I will just take this out, because cout, so this cout is out, it is passed as a out here, this parameter cout came as out here.
Okay.
So we'll take this out, we'll output, and the second parameter is str, so we'll take this str and we'll print this res. So cout knows how to print a constant string, right?
Right.
So we'll take this out and print this out, and what we'll do is just return this out again, because we have to return this O stream. And why we are returning this? Because what we can do is, we can change this thing. We can change, right? We can do this str3 and str4. Because we are returning, so what will happen is, now this whole thing will return this out. Now again you can chain with the other, you can output other strings as well. So that is why we are returning from here.
Got it.
So makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But there is one more thing. Because we are directly using str.res, which is a private member of this class, so and it is a global function which is outside class, we cannot actually use it here, right? So what we have to do is, just to access this str.res, we have to define this as a friend function here inside this class. So friend ostream ampersand and operator. Sorry.
What is a friend function?
So inside this class I am putting this function as a friend, means wherever this function is implemented I can now access the private member. That's it. That is the whole thing about friend.
Yeah.
So ostream ampersand out and comma and string ampersand str. So now this is done. Okay. So this is taken care of, and the same thing goes for this operator also. So this whole thing I can actually just go ahead and copy. Sorry, this one here like this, and I can just change it to iStream, and this one to iStream, and the same concept goes. This whatever we mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And we can just say n, and yeah, okay, this has to be changed, this and this. Right?
Yeah.
And again similarly I have to make this as a friend function because I am accessing the private resource. And this is the friend.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are done with, okay, sorry. So other thing, so this was I actually told you before, this will be taken care by the string copy constructor. Yeah, so these all functionalities I have completed. Anything else you want me to implement?
So Amit, just a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Can you go to the assignment operator that you have implemented?
Yeah, 1 second. This one, right?
Yes. So there is a
Yeah.
catch in the implementation that you have done. So basically you are deleting res, right? Your resource. So later, if suppose the memory allocation doesn't happen for some reason, the new allocation doesn't happen, you end up losing the previous one as well, right? So how do you take care of
correct.
that?
Yeah. So what we can do here is, okay, so we delete this, and so what you said is, if I delete this and
you're creating the new one fails, the memory allocation doesn't happen, like memory got full or something.
Yeah. Okay, so new didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have deleted the earlier one.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
So what we can do here is, we can actually save this one with some temporary memory key char start temp equal res.
Okay.
And instead of deleting this whole thing, what we can do is, we can assign this res to a new character. What we did is, so we take out the length, assign the new resource to this. So once this happens, then only once we assign the new resource to this resource, and then what we can do is go ahead and delete the whole earlier resource, which we have actually captured in the temporary object.
You mean str.resource, right? When you made the temp.
Which one?
Char start temp equal to str.resource, right?
No, not str.resource. So this string, no, which has called this function.
Okay.
This pointer this. So we can, if I have to show it like this, it's actually this. So we have, what we are doing is we have to delete this resource who has
Okay.
called it.
Okay.
What we have to do and assign the new memory to it and the new resource to it.
Okay.
So what we can do is we can just assign some temporary to it, so that okay, our memory was here, assign this new resource and all, and once this is okay, we can go ahead and delete the earlier one.
Okay. Got it.
So this is one way to do it. So Kirti, actually there is also a nicer way to do this, the whole thing.
Okay.
What we can do is there is something called CAS, copy and swap idiom in C++. So so that the way it is done is, what we can do is we can just remove this ampersand here and const here, and idea is कि once you are doing this str3 equal str2, str2 will come here, right? So because now we have not given a reference, it will actually try to copy the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? And copy means it will call the copy constructor,
Yeah.
right? This one,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So what str will contain is the copy of the string that was passed, right? Not the actual. So this is not the actual resource. It is a copy of the resource.
Yes.
Correct. And so what we can do here is we can just swap the whole thing, this with the str, and we can remove the whole thing and return the star of this. And one more thing what we have to do is just implement this swap function here.
So you actually never deleted now, na? You just swapped with this.
Yeah, so what will happen is, so now the str contains the copy of the string that we have to copy in inside this resource. And what we are going ahead and doing is we are swapping this with this str.
Okay.
Correct. What it will do
So
is
now
just
after the function, it would have.
this is little confusing, but so yeah, little confusing. But what it is doing this, so what str had is now it is in this, inside this object.
Right.
Correct. So what my actual aim was, this object contains the resources of the other string that was passed, right? So this swap does that, return this, and after this function is returned, this str gets deleted, right? Because this is just a temporary object, so parameter gets deleted. And what was the parameter? Which was just a copy of the string that was passed, which we don't need right now. Correct. So that got deleted, and this have actually got the data which was there inside, which was passed, right?
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we return this. So only thing we need is this swap function. So this swap function should be called here, and it will need is two of the strings, string ampersand str1 and string ampersand str2.
Okay, here you are passing as reference. You are passing the copy of the string as reference, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to swap those things. So this string object will be swapped with the values of this string object.
Okay.
Right. Whatever the length and resource of this will be swapped with each other.
Okay. Both the length and the resource will be okay.
Yeah. Correct. Because so we cannot directly use swap std swap here, because it will not know what our string class is.
Right.
So I'm writing this swap, and there I'm using the simple our swap function to just swap the things individually. So str1 dot resource with the str2 dot resource, right? And similarly the length. Str1 dot len and str2 dot len. Correct. So in 2 lines this copy assignment operator is complete, and it is taking care of all the things that were missing from the earlier implementation. And just to tell that this is called CAS idiom, copy and swap idiom.
Right. Also, there's also something called a move constructor, right? Do you know about it?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that as well?
Yeah. So this is some concept that is in the modern C++ that has come, I think, after C++11, from C++11 you can say. So the actual concept is okay. So I'll try to first tell ki how this looks like. Sorry. So what we can do is, what a user will do is he can write str6 equal. So there is something called move in std. And he can say suppose str2. So we need to understand what actually we are trying to do here. So before we used to suppose take this one str3 equal str1. What we were trying to do here is copy all the things which had in str1 to inside this str3, right? Copy the whole object. But str1 still used to be there and str3 still used to be there after this statement, right? But what inside this we are trying to do is, whatever the resource which was there inside str2, the resource and the length, everything, just give it to str6 and you just die. That is the whole concept here.
So like you don't have to won't be there anymore, like after this.
Yeah, if you are trying to use this str2 after this, you will get null ptr or exception. That is again the implementation dependent.
Okay.
Right? But the main thing is you are just moving your resource to someone else.
Got it.
And this is kind of a optimization thing that has been done by C++ in modern C++. So sometimes what happens is you call a function and you create some kind of a temporary object and you return it. But after that you don't need that object, right? So in that case, instead of just returning a copy of it, you can just say you just want to move it.
Okay.
Right? So what will happen is once you move it, the other one who is trying to get that resource, it will just point to that resource and this thing will just get deleted. So instead of the copying the whole thing here, so here you might not see a big difference because you just have two resources here, a length and a simple char. But suppose you have a very big objects, some very lot of member variables and all. So and when you are saying copy and second one you are saying move. So in copy, the whole thing will get copied each one time, and other is just moving. So this resource will just point it there, and this just gets deleted. So it's kind of optimization that you'll do using this move constructors.
Right.
So how this gets implemented is, it's like similar to this copy constructor and all. So I'll just write it there. So copy constructor, similar kind of signature. String const string, just a difference is you'd say double ampersand.
What is double ampersand?
So double ampersand here means it's called a R value reference. So one single ampersand was a simple reference, but this double ampersand means you are passing something as a temporary object. This is called a R value reference. So there is this whole concept of L value and R values here.
Yeah.
So what happens is, so what we are trying to do is, somebody who has passed this object we have to destroy this str, right? And pass the resource to this object. So what we'll do it here is, we take out the length from this one, str dot length. We'll copy the whole resource, resource equal new. Okay, so that is the difference here. So we'll not do this res equal new char len plus 1. What we are just gonna do is resource equal str dot resource, just pointing, no copying. Okay, and after this what we'll do is str equal null ptr. So now str is not pointing to anything, that's it. And also if you str dot, just assign it a 0. Okay, there is no length of it and the str is gone. So after this str will not show you anything, null pointer and 0, and this resource is now pointing to what the str was pointing. So if you see the difference here, the whole doing new and this str copy, you are saving all this inside the move. Right. So this is kind of optimization you are doing when you are using a move constructor. Similarly, if you are doing this, similarly what you can do is, you can also say str6 equal std move of like this. So is the similar concept where we have to this make overload the move copy assignment operator. Similar to this copy assignment, we have to do a move copy assignment operator, which is almost similar. You want me to implement this?
No, that's fine. But is there anything
Okay.
else missing from the class that you think you would like to implement?
Uh, yeah, Kirti, maybe just one thing that we can implement here is we can have a destructor for this class, which is actually needed. If you don't means implement destructor, then whatever the resource we have assigned, that will actually become a memory leak. So what we should do is means define a destructor. So that I will quickly do here because it's just a simple destructor. So we'll just gonna see if we have resource, we are gonna delete it, right?
Yeah.
So delete the resource. Also doesn't become a dangling, so I'll just assign null pointer and I'll just put a length to 0. So cleanly it got deleted. So
Anyway,
yeah, so that is what I would do. So
great.
yeah, anything else?
No, sounds good, looks good. Thank you so much for coming and doing this, Amit. I'm sure this will help a lot of people. Since you have so much experience in C++ and you have taken and given so many C++ interviews, do you have any tips for our viewers?
Yeah, first of all, Kirti, thank you very much for calling me here. Actually, I have watched a lot of videos before also. So it's kind of a privilege and I was actually very scared. I usually don't come on cameras. I'm actually camera shy. So it's a wonderful experience actually. So talking about the tips, I've given a lot of C++ interviews and I've also taken a lot of C++ interviews, Algo DS and all. So few of the tips, if you ask me, I will give is you should be pretty, so it's specifically for the C++ interview. So if you ask me, I'll say ki you should be thoroughly prepared with the pointers and references, concepts and all. Second, I would say you should be thorough with the inheritance, v pointer, v tables and all. So these things you have to be really thorough. There is like you cannot just skip it if you are going for a C++ interview. And questions like this, like what we have done today, like string class and implementing each and everything, what I know, because I've taken a lot of interviews, I've given a lot of interviews, I would say that you have to really be thorough with this string class kind of implementation from scratch, write everything down. In fact, I will say just go ahead and remember, just understand and then remember also, because if not string class, you are gonna get this, you're gonna get this question somehow. Means in one way or another, you are gonna go ahead and you have to implement it in some kind of interviews. So yeah, and there are a lot of
Pointers to
lot
know.
of concepts we have done while doing this string class. So those small things you just need to remember.
Yeah,
And
as you said,
yeah, so
just one thing over there. As you said, also not only just understand, also remember, because in interviews, what will happen, you might have understood at some point of time, but in the interview, you're also
correct.
supposed to say it. So you're supposed to remember that, okay, this is a point that I'm supposed to mention. Yeah.
Yeah, when you are asking right now, because I have done this so many times, but when you do it, you just need to think, oh, you have to give ampersand. Why did you give const? So like these small things you can just miss. So just before interviews, you can just go ahead and go ahead and just practice it once or twice. So that should be good,
Definitely. Yep.
right?
That will definitely help a lot of people. Thank you again for coming and doing this. I really hope you liked the video. Let me know if you would like to see more such mock C++ interviews. This was the first one and I would like to create more. Just let me know how many of you found it useful. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It will mean so much to me. Thank you.